All right, everybody, welcome back to another Unreal Engine tutorial. Today, guys, I want to show you how quickly in Unreal Engine 5 you can create really cool levels, kind of like this, right? This looks awesome. This looks really, really good considering the fact that you're not going to believe how quickly you can generate something like this with some really good modular assets like the ones that I got from Manifestation. This one here is the Eternal pack. There is going to be a link to it as well as another pack that they have in the description, and you guys should check it out because it is a really great pack. But before I get into that more, let me go ahead and show you what we're doing here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just go in here and delete everything because I don't need any of this in here right now, right? And I'm going to delete this instance here. And I want to show you guys the power of instances and what it is exactly you can do. So, okay, I started a new level here, right? And it's just an empty level. And I've got my modular assets and I'm ready to start building a map. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to grab some bases, right? Because that's just what everybody does, you know? And the first thing I want to do is grab that static mesh, drag it in, and I want to make sure that it's at 0, 0, 0. Okay. And I want to make sure that my player start is also at 0, 0, 0 and sitting just above that asset there so that when I hit play, my player's feet are nice and firm on the ground. Now, the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the scale and I'm going to make sure, okay, is this looking good? So this looks pretty good to me, but let's do one thing real quick because I'm going to go ahead and put the size of this at 0.5. Oops, my bad. Can't type today. On every single scale, okay? And I'm still going to drag this guy down here to where he's just above. But those stones look more accurate to the representation of size. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a bridge, right? So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to make sure that my position grid is at 50 or 100, either one. And I'm then going to drag this on either side and hit play again. And this is the width that I want my bridge to be, right? Or do I want it to be wider? It's a good question. And the only way to know is to build from the center out. So I'm going to do it one more time and see. Now that looks more like the size that I want there, okay? From this point on, I'm going to go ahead and grab these, right? Now, I could do a couple of different things, but this is just a basic bridge that we're going to make, okay? And I want to grab this center one last so that my pivot point is right in the middle. And I'm going to hit Control C and Control V, and I'm going to drag this like this. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to drag it forward, right? And I'm going to do the same thing again, dragging it forward, and then I'll drag it backwards, right? And this gives me a good area to mess with and to play with. And you can see here that this just looks just like a temple floor, basically. It looks really, really good, okay? So let me go ahead and do this real quick so that I can really get into how these instances work. So I'm going to grab all of these base things right here. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to level and create level instance. Now, there's different pivot types and things you can do, but I'm just going to do center minimum Z and I'm going to hit OK. And you want to create a new folder called instances. Just makes it easier to get to them later on when you need it. And you're going to name this. So I'm going to do bridge base instance. Okay. Now the reason I want to do that is because if I click off and click back, you'll see it's now one full piece and it's one instance here. Okay. Now I can copy that instance and drag it out multiple times here, right? And what that does is that allows me to instantly build a nice long bridge if I want, right? It's a little bland. So there's a couple things we can do. the first thing you can do is you can actually go over to your instances, which is right here, and you can literally just open this up. And your stuff, I'm going to go to unlit. It's in here, right? Now, if I were to build something on this, right, like let me go here to say walls. Yeah, walls sounds good. And let's just say that I put this wall here. It's a huge wall, so I'm probably not going to end up using it, but my bad. Let me make sure this is 0, 0, 0. Drag this up. And then I'm going to drag this over here. I'll rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to make sure that this lines up basically right on the edge there, okay? You could do it even half in like that if you wanted, but I like to do it right on the edge. And let me just copy this a couple times here. This. Right? So that's looking pretty good. Drag this over here. Now, I don't think I'm going to end up keeping this, but let's just say. So I go to save. And then I go back and I open up my main level, which is my third person map. You'll see that it instantly updated the entire map, every instance. But that's annoying having to go back and forth, right? Well, you can right click on this first instance here, right? Or this one. You could actually do it on any of them. And under level, you can go to edit, all right? And it'll isolate. And then you can go through. Let's just delete these as a test. And then you right click again and hit commit. Look at that, it updates all the way across. So let's really do this. Let's make this thing look like really what we're trying to do, okay? And while we do that, there's a couple of other things we can do too. So let's go to the columns and let's go ahead and drag in this column here. I'm going to make it be 0.25. I'm going to put this down to 10 for the time being. I'm going to put that right on the money of the edge there. And I'm going to drag, oops, let me put this back up to 500 actually, now that I've done that. And so 500 is not exactly what I'm looking for. Let's do it on hundreds. And I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that basically allows it to tile the way that I'm trying to actually do this, okay? And I'm going to copy these. I'm going to put them on the other side as well. In which case, I might need to drop this back down to 10 to get that lined up just right, like that. All right, and that's looking really good. Now that I've got my columns in there, let me go ahead and look for some other stuff here. So I've got some damaged walls. That looks pretty cool. Pits and platforms. No, I'm not looking for that. Let's go to 2 segment long, maybe 1 segment. There's so many pieces with this. It's makes it really interesting here. All right, so here's some walls. We could probably use this here. You know what? Let me do this. Let me go to bases or damaged. No, there it is. There's the one I'm looking for. Railings. That's the one I'm looking for right there. And let's go ahead and grab a railing that we like the look of here. So let's just go with this basic one. This looks really cool. Okay. And I'm going to rotate. Whoops. I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees. Zoom in. It looks really good, actually. I'm gonna. Right, so let's do like 0.5, 5, and 0.5 here. So that's not going to work that size. Whoops. My scale. Let's do 0.5. That's even bigger. I had the wrong way. 0.1 is what I meant. All right, let's go to this one. There we go. That's lined up pretty nicely there now. Probably make that just a hair thicker like that. All right, there we go. That's looking pretty good there. So one, I want to cut that difference just a hair like that. All right, let's 100. And that looks really good, actually. So I think I'm going to stick with that. And then in this part here, let's change it up. 5.25, 0.25, just as a starting point. And let's drag this here and up. I want to make sure that lines up just like that. There we go. That looks pretty good right there. I'm going to grab all of these, enable this again, and then I'm going to pop all of these all the way over to here. Put that back at 10. Just like that. I'm going to right click, go to level, and hit commit. And you'll see there it updates the whole thing. And when I hit play, instantly my bridge has been created, right? And I can work on this from this point further to make basically anything and any changes that I want, including adding things like props, right? So let's go back here, level. We're going to edit it. And let's just create some barricaded barrels all over the place. Right, just like that. Hit save, right click, and commit. Now, that looks really good, right? The problem is it looks like it's repeating itself. So what do we do in that case? Well, let me show you. It's actually really easy to do. So let's go ahead and minimize all this. We're going to go back to the third person instances. We're going to duplicate this to bridge second base. Okay. I'm going to open this one up. We'll make sure it's unlit. And on this one, I'll rotate this like this, maybe a little bit like that. Maybe this one here won't even be here. I'm going to move this one over here. Move these around like this, right? And I'm going to hit save again. I'm going to open back up my main app, and then I can grab this first one here. And instead of having to like drag it and make it all perfect, I can literally just click on the bridge second base and use it and it updates it just like that, to where now it doesn't look like it's repeating itself. And you could do this 3, 4, 5 times. And then you'll have like a totally unique bridge all the way down through. And instead of wasting a bunch of time, you just did it super quick. That is the power of level instances. And the only last thing I want to show you guys about this is that you can also make some really, really cool changes with this by using effects, right? So I'm going to go over here to my environment, and I'm going to go to my particles, and I'm going to drag a rain particle in here, right? Drag that up just a little bit so that it's falling down. And I'm going to go to the level and hit commit, and I'm going to do it on my second one and do the same thing. Whoops, I'm on the wrong one. But let's change the rotation a little bit of that. Right click, commit to that. And just like that, we now have a rainy particle system that looks really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to make instances, and we'll see you guys in the next one.